Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast. 5 match days down for the Champions League. Let's get back to the Premier League and all of the action around Europe. We are into match day 14 in England. Arsenal find themselves back on top of the Premier League, and Manchester City slip into second place, and it'll be master versus disciple on Sunday when they welcome Tottenham to Manchester City. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Ani Sridhar. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Plus Money Pod, at Ani323, at Andrew Passaro. Ani, I hope you had a great beginning to your holiday season last week for Thanksgiving. We've got a busy one this weekend. Before we get to Saturday, I do have a quick one for Friday. Juve taking on Monza on the road. They are sitting right around plus 100 as we do this podcast. Juve look really good. They're kind of back to their best, and they are not playing middle of the week football right now as they are suspended from European competition. So the fact that you can get them even money, I will be taking them against Monza. But I think you've got to pick early on Saturday as Arsenal will take on Wolves. Arsenal, who are just cooking right now in the Champions League.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't want to take this game. I didn't really have a play for it until I saw Arsenal in the midweek against Lens just put up a 5-goal first half just clinic. So I'm taking Arsenal -1.5 at -110. This is just a different team at the Emirates. They're far better at home. They feed off that home energy, and they did lose to Lens on the road. So clearly playing at home suits them a lot better in European play and in English football as well. So to win by at least 2 against this Wolves team, which is still missing their best player, Neto. So I think that's a big loss for Wolves, and I could see Arsenal just rolling here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they seem to be cooking, and we're getting to that busy part of the season, and these are the games that they have to win. And it's not the early game; it's a 10 a.m. game. There is no 7:30 game this weekend. Anything else you like in that 10 a.m. slate on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to this Brentford Luton. It's going to be a 0.5 or 0.75 unit bet for me, and that's Brentford team total over 2.5 at plus 200. Brentford have been kind of up and down. They've gotten nice results against, Chelsea. They've hung tough with teams like United and Arsenal, but one thing they have done this year is they've put away bad teams. They won 3-0 against Burnley at home. They've got West Ham, they put 3 up at home. So they're better at home. They're playing against a Luton Town team that's just not good defensively. We see this week in and week out. So I think Brentford can put up 3 goals here at home. And at plus 200, I love that value.
That's insane value. I did consider taking Burnley against Sheffield money line because I still think Burnley are a better team than Sheffield.
Me
It is
too.
a relegation 6-pointer at 10 o'clock. Might be actually a pretty close game, but I will not be betting on it.
I feel just so bad, but Burnley just can't be trusted. It's like a battle of two, bad shit, I guess you could say. Like a team that can't defend against a team that can't score. Like something's got to give here. 0-0 draw.
You talk about team scoring, and I would have taken Nottingham Forest plus 175 money line when they take on Everton at 12:30. However, their leading striker is out, and I'm nervous about it. Forest did manage to score twice against Brighton last weekend, but Everton are a team that is, I don't want to say desperate for points, because even with the 10-point deduction, I still think that they will be safe. But I'm staying away from that, but I think you've got to pick.
Yeah, I'm taking Everton plus 160 on the money line. I think they're just a way better team than Forest. And I think Everton have gotten unlucky this year. They're creating a lot of chances. They just can't score. It's kind of shades of Chelsea last year where they just have so many chances to score and just are not able to put the ball in the back of the net. Something's got to give here. I thought Forest was a good pick a couple weeks ago against Brighton when they had him at home, and Forest is naturally better at home, but that didn't work out. I think Everton come away here with 3 points. And like you said, even with the 10-point deduction, I don't think Everton are going to get relegated. Any other year, I think they could have been relegated, but the bottom 3 teams are just so bad this year. I think they're going to comfortably be safe this year.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and I hate that because I have Everton to get relegated
Yeah,
at
you
plus
do.
200.
And this should have helped you. This should have helped you big time. Like any other year, you would be already taking that to the register.
Here's the thing. I deserve compensation for last year's ticket, which I got in the plus 400s, as
True.
does Leicester, as does Southampton, frankly, as do Leeds. This happens last year. All three of those teams are granted some kind of breath of life, and maybe they figure it out and don't get relegated. There are going to be a lot of lawyers. Let's move on. Let's continue to talk about more football. 3:00 Saturday, huge one. Newcastle playing Manchester United, a replay of a cup final last year. Both teams coming off of draws in Europe. Newcastle looked absolutely ragged after that match against PSG on the road. Manchester United having to travel all the way to Turkey, being up twice, blowing two two-goal leads in that match. They're in a very tough spot to get out of their group now in the Champions League, but they've been kind of stringing results together here in the Premier League. And I actually just decided to take a pick. I've been staying away from Newcastle, but they have been getting results. They're playing at home. Money line, they're minus 105. In fact, earlier in the day when I looked at the line, they're plus 100 on the line. I'm going to take that up to Newcastle and over 1.5 at plus 125. Their team total over 1.5 is a good number. But I think this Newcastle attack, even with the players they have out injured, is just as good as the Galatasaray team that just scored 3 against Man United. Andre Onana is good for a mistake. I don't trust Man U. And I think both teams are kind of trying to surge back into that top 6, top 5, top 4 conversation. And I'm going to trust Newcastle right now, even with the injuries that they have, even with the suspensions. I'm taking Newcastle.
Yeah, I have the same bet here. You said it all perfectly. I've got a minus 105 on the money line. I'm not going to do the parlay you have, even though I like those odds. I'm going to play it a little bit safer. And what's crazy stat that I saw with United today, I think I picked it up on the broadcast and I have to go double check it. They have no draws on the year in Prem play. 8 wins, 5 losses. So like they're either going to win this game or lose this game. I don't see them winning at St. James Park. So give me Newcastle here on the money line for sure.
All right, before we jump to Sunday, I'm going to go to Spain, a team I've been betting on the last couple of weeks. I have money on today in the Champions League. Real Sociedad, they are money line plus 135. They're traveling to Osasuna, who are like a lower mid-table La Liga club. They've beaten them 6 straight times, and Sociedad's only losses in La Liga this year come to 3 teams: Atletico Madrid, Barca, and Real Madrid. Those are okay teams to lose to. They've been a bit of a wagon. So I'm taking Sociedad. Need them to pick it up today and score some more goals. But very big on this Sociedad team. And anytime I can get them money line in a plus number, I'm going to run to it. And before we go to Sunday, by the way, as always, go follow us on Pickit, where you can see all of our picks. Additionally, you can track what your bets are. It's totally free. It syncs with your sports book. It gives you stats for how you're betting week by week, over the month, by league, everything. Which is why I know that I'm not betting Europa League tomorrow, because I am horrendous at betting Europa League. So if you use our promo code plus money, that's all lowercase, all one word, you can win $3 or $100 when you sign up and you support the podcast. Like once again, totally free and helps you manage your sports books. Let's go to Sunday. Bunch of great games because we have Europa League. You got Liverpool taking on Fulham, Bournemouth taking on Villa, Brighton taking on Chelsea before the big one, City taking on Spurs. I'm going to start with Bournemouth taking on Villa. I'm back. I'm fully back on the Villa train. Aston Villa and over 1.5 is plus 120, and Villa and both teams to score is plus 220. Villa have given up a goal in 8 straight matches, and Bournemouth have scored in 6 straight matches. The numbers are there. Bournemouth have done a good enough job to comfortably be a team that's not going to be relegated, I think. Again, we talked about how bad teams are at the bottom of the table. One thing that might be concerning for Villa, Kamara is suspended, but I think between Tielemans and other players that they have, they should be fine, barring any major injury that happens in Europa League on Thursday. I think Villa get all 3 points here, and I think they score some goals. They are currently top 4 in the Premier League. They want to make Champions League, and they are doing pretty well in Europa Conference League. I think the Villa train keeps rolling on Sunday at 9 a.m.
I agree with you. I didn't play it because they are on the road, and you just never know when you have midweek play, and then you have to travel again on the weekend. How teams come out, but so I stayed away. But I do like the play. I was on Villa a couple weeks. I'm pretty much on Villa almost every weekend, so I don't hate that at all. I'll go to this Chelsea Brighton game we got before we tackle the big game Tottenham against City. I'm taking the over 3.5 at plus 136. This is hitting in almost every single Brighton game. Their defense is an absolute shambles. They are getting healthier on the attack, but I think Chelsea are slowly getting healthier as well, but they will miss out on Reece James. Looks like Malo Gusto will be back there playing right back, which is honestly good for the over because he has had his struggles. Levi Colwell's not been great. Thiago Silva is, I think, finally showing his age. He had some absolute howlers on Sunday against Newcastle. So give me the over 3.5 at plus 136.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you on this. I'm still. I might post about this on Twitter or TikTok. I'm very, very close to taking the number on Brighton. It's plus 350 for them to win money line. Double chances plus 105. Tino bet is plus 250. There's some great value on Brighton, but they have some suspensions. I think there's a Hood is out, and I think one of their defenders is out as well, suspension wise. So I have questions about can they keep this one away without letting the game get away from themselves. And I think the over is the perfect place to go in this one. I want to say one quick thing, and I've been talking about West Ham. 15 of 19 games, the both teams to score has it so far this year. They are coming off the Europa League. They have a horrendous record in the Europa League. I don't know if I'm going to put that in a parlay or not. I'll put a parlay out for the weekend, but that will get figured out Friday or Saturday. Watch the social spaces. It's not happening on Wednesday while we're literally in the middle of a Champions League slate.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a tough weekend. That's for damn sure. And I'm just hoping Chelsea don't lose another game. It's been tough sledding here recently. They're just getting, it's not even just losing. They're getting embarrassed. And that's what's bad. Like a 4-4 result against City. I like it. A draw against Arsenal. I like it. Liverpool draw. Great. Beating Tottenham, going up 2 men. You should win that game. But God, that Newcastle game was just so depressing to watch because you'd expect a team like Chelsea who spent so much money, have a good manager, just put up a better fight, and it's just not happening right now.
All right, let's jump to Tottenham. They're taking on Spurs. And Postecoglou, a Pep Guardiola disciple, comes from the City Football Group tree. I do have a quick stat here. We have another week where Manchester City have given up goals. They gave up goals to Liverpool at home over the weekend. They gave up goals. They gave up 2 goals. They were 2 goals down to RB Leipzig in the Champions League in the midweek. You know how many games that City haven't given up a goal in? It's only 5 all season. They've played 18 matches. That's 13 games where they've conceded matches.
It's crazy.
And Ange is going to play a style, or they're going for it. They're not going to go to the Etihad and sit back. And frankly, they were playing Emerson Royale as a center back this past weekend because they're still reeling from that game that led them all the suspensions. And with all the injuries, Rodrigo Bentancur was back and now could be out. I have a lot of questions. I'm on the fade Tottenham train. I think the best bet that I really saw for this one, City and both teams to score, is at plus 130. That number is kind of low for both teams to score bet, but I am going to roll the dice with that. And City team total over 2.5 is minus 104.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Ooh, I really do. Yeah.
And the over 3.5 of the match is only sitting at plus 104.
I like that as well. Yep.
Those numbers are really cooked because, I mean, the team total over 2.5, you're fine. But what if City just win the game 3-0? You know what I mean? Like, that's for a number at plus 104, especially a 3.5 number at plus 104. I'm very cautious about taking it. I expect City to get all 3 points here. And I think this would be 4 straight losses for Tottenham. It would be, I think, the first time. It's already the first time that a team went unbeaten 10 games in the Premier League and then lost 3 straight.
Three
But
straight,
this
yeah.
could be 4 straight losses for Spurs. Um, and I did think that they were out-kicking their coverage, and this is clearly regression. But the injuries and the suspensions don't make it any easier. So we'll see. But what do you like from this game on Sunday?
Yeah, I like the team total. I like the City team total over 2.5. Like you said, Ange just come out and said, even if we go down to 8 men, we're gonna go for it. So he doesn't care who they're playing, who's on the team, how many guys have red cards under his squad. They are going to go for it, and that's gonna open up so much counterattacking opportunities for Man City. And they were able to really rest their stars in the first half there against Leipzig. So they should have a pretty fresh Alvarez, Doku, ready to go here and just show their pace on the wings in this contest.
All right, one last one for me, and then we get out of here. I'm going back to Spain. My record in Spain of late has been very good. The only bet I've missed in Spain in my last, I think, 6 was I had Girona on Monday. They were top of the table. They lost. Bottom of the table, Almeria is hosting Real Betis. Real Betis currently sitting 7th. They are a Europa League team. Isco is doing his thing over there. Manuel Pellegrini, the former Manchester City manager, doing his thing over there. You can get Betis playing the bottom of the table team in Spain at plus 115 right now.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. It's a bottom of the table club. It's a good team.
Yeah.
It's a good team for in Betis. I'm gonna take Betis money line at that number. So
I like that.
Yep. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up from us. For more picks and plays at the Plus Money Pod at Andrew Passaro at Ani 323. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. As we get ready for the holiday season, we'll try to get as many episodes as we can out to you, but there's always a lot happening. So bear with us. Let's try to stay positive this weekend. Best of luck. We'll catch you next week.